Hello YouTubers, this is Mooney here, and yes, it is a PS2, but there's something special about it, and more than likely you already know because of the title. That's going to be posted whenever you click on the video. But this is a Japan PlayStation 2, and this one's one of the more earlier ones. This is the FAT iteration. I call it more like there's a 3 and 5 series. Like it'll say the number 3000 and like 1 or something. I think the last digit stands for that it's like for the Japan region and so forth. But whenever they released the PlayStation 2, they make different iterations, and not just the FAT and Slim models, but between the FAT and the Slim, they made certain alterations, ways to improve that console's performance and so forth. But this is one of the earlier ones, and right off the bat, before I continue, for those of you who are interested in a Japan PlayStation 2, I would highly recommend shelling out a little bit more money and getting the Slim Model 9 series PlayStation 2 Slim. A lot of the earlier FAT ones had issues more where the laser would start dying, faster than the Slim models, so they would end up getting error message faster and so forth. And there's tricks and ways to try to get that to work, besides first right off the bat replacing the laser that's inside of it, because that's what I tried to do originally. So I took it apart, cleaned it, used compressed air and wiped it down inside outside so that it can get a good thorough clean and get all that dust and debris out of it. But realized then that the laser itself is more specific by model, so you can't say put a laser that's from the 5 series into a 3 series and then kind of expect it to work. It needs to be by that same model, which really does kind of suck, because it kind of limits your availability in order to kind of like get that part easily, and you have to make sure that you get the specific model to get that to work. But before actually replacing the laser, first things first, innards are going to be slightly different versus if you get the 3 series versus the 5 series. So 3 series is going to be my Japan one. I have a 5 series North American PlayStation 2 FAT. And when you open it up for the 3 series, the one that's the Japan one right here, it has one giant cogwheel, a white cogwheel. So you have the laser kind of sitting here and then cogwheel right here. And that cogwheel has a couple of notches all around it. And the best way I can say it is online they have different ways that you can try to correct the issue of the laser itself just not reading any of the discs, because mine didn't read it read like 1 in the beginning and then straight after that like none right out of the box whenever I got mine on eBay. So I did the laser part and it failed, and I was tired that night and I needed to go to work, and my fiance was nice enough where I showed him online that there was another possibility where you adjust it by a few notches or just like 1 notch, then you assemble it back, or just kind of not assemble it fully but enough to where that you put your hand lightly on top of the casing and you insert a disc, and if it doesn't read it, then try again, take it out, do another notch, and then rinse and repeat essentially until it finally is able to read a disc. So first try to see if it reads a disc on a PlayStation 1 disc, then a PS2 disc, and so forth. So I didn't have any Japan PS1 games, and this is region locked, so that's why I got it. I know you can mod your PS2, but I didn't want to do that. And I really wanted a Japan PS2 console. I thought it's really cool. But in order to avoid that headache of trying to do that, because whenever you adjust the cogwheel, each increment, it actually adjusts the laser, how far and stuff it's reading the actual disc at the bottom. And you just have to find that sweet spot, and then eventually it'll be able to start reading those discs, unless the laser itself has completely given up on life. And then you just have to say, sayonara laser, I'm going to invest in another one. Or if it's too expensive and you realize it's not worth shelling out that money to get that part, in my honest opinion, just to avoid that hassle, because these have more of an issue to do so. And sometimes when transporting the console and stuff, like the seller that I got it from, he said he tested it, and I don't doubt that he tested it, but there's a chance too, whenever it was kind of in the vehicle, it might have messed up the actual laser. It could have, whenever it jumped the console and shook the console and so forth, got out of alignment somehow. But that was just kind of really, in my opinion, not worth it but price-wise, like I paid around 80 bucks for mine. I think for the slim one that I've seen for like a 7 or 9 series online on eBay, maybe around 120, 140, depending on what color. Sometimes the color variants are going to be, of course, more expensive than the base black one. But yeah, just wanted to kind of throw that out there the first 5 minutes. That's what I experienced, and it is working right now. I don't know for honestly how long. I hope for a long while, because eventually when it does die and it's going to look like that needs a lens replacement, I'm not going to take the trouble of more than likely doing that. I'm just going to then invest money on shelling out a bit more cash just so that I can get a newer PS2 that they made in production, the Slim Model 9 Series 1. Because also they decreased some of the movable parts too in it, because also what makes a machine, you know, not have maybe such a longer lifespan too, is a lot of those movable parts within the unit. And then they did it in oh, I'm getting tongue-tied, sorry. They did fix that, or started to decrease the amount of movable parts from 3 to 5 and 7 to 9 and so forth. But yeah, this is the PS2 right here, and it came with that remote controller for the DVD, and here's the adapter for it there, and then it has the card right there, the 8 megabit card. And I got a few games for it, so by few I mean like 4. I'd like to get the 3rd and 4th one from the series, because I have 1, 2, and 5. 5 being the North American version, and then 1 and 2, of course, was never released stateside, so got it here. Online, you can actually find the game where it's been fan translated from, I think, the Dreamcast version, and you can watch those videos on YouTube, or you can actually get some translated, you know, some apps. So like there's a Google app that's able to translate for the most part pretty decent, from Japanese to English. It will take time. You have to take a picture and then just highlight it, and then English. If you're if you really are invested in a series and take the time to do it and so forth, then you might not mind so much. I've done that so far for this Sakura Wars. I actually have, I think I have my booklet. It's the purple booklet, but I think I have it in the other side of the room. But I have like 5, 6 sheets right now where I've just kind of translated it. And that was before I stumbled on the fan translated video that was available online, which was kind of neat, because for my 6 pages I was able to check to see if I kind of got a decent translation from that application on my phone. And sometimes it would kind of be reversed to what they were saying translated wise, where in the English it would start with the sentence but at the end, and then have the end of the sentence in the beginning for certain phrases. So I just kind of took that whole sentence and reconstructed it for what it was there to make it so it can make sense. But for the most part I did pretty good. So I actually might keep doing that just for fun, because I really enjoyed that. It takes time, but I feel that it's worth it. I feel more involved with the game when I do that. But besides that though, let me actually say which game I'm actually, you know, doing. So, of course, here is Sakura Wars. Originally, it was released on multiple consoles before PlayStation 2, because I think on PS3 it came, not PS3, but PS2 it came out in 2003. And then actually originally coming out 1996 on Sega Saturn, but it had multiple releases. This first one, Dreamcast, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation Portable, and overall just really good series in general. So I didn't play yet the 5, even though I have the 5 first, but it's a tactical role-playing adventure game. But also it has a mix of dating sim, which I really like. And I know there's an anime for it. Haven't watched the anime. I don't know if I have a feeling, because I've seen some DVDs of the anime, like in secondhand stores, thrift stores, and so forth, that it looks like it's based off of the first game. So I think I'll play the first game first before actually doing the anime, because I want to get one done first before watching what the interpretation behind the game was for anime-wise. But then after that, I also have the second game here. To my knowledge, that one should be the second game, because I think online when I checked the third game to see how that was, it was a bit more expensive. I think this is the second one. This might be technically the third one, but I don't think so. That's a good question, honestly. this is the second or third one. I'll have to check later. If anyone knows though off the top of their head and let me know, that would be awesome. But I'll probably know after the end of this video. But that was not the first one, so I got that online too because it was cheap as well. This was around 10 bucks. This was around 10 bucks. So yeah, so dating sim slash tactical strategy game. This is kind of based off of an alternate world in 1920s Japan. And you have more like these girls here are like this part of a flower group in a sense. But they're kind of like an elite task force. They help protect Japan and so forth from these monsters and so forth. And when I saw these, I'm really a fan when it comes to a lot of like military based games, but also especially whenever it adds dating sim elements, because with each character, you know, when you interact with them, they'll either start to dislike you, like you more and so forth, but that also affects how you play in the game as well. Depending on how you answer the dating sim game wise, how you answer to each of the girls here, how they actually fight on the battlefield. And I thought that that was really cool. Now this is a time-based question thing, so when a question pops up, it gives you like 1, 2, 3, or 4 questions or answers for that question, and there's a timer. So you either have to know it real quickly. I might actually use that portion from the YouTube videos so I can know real quick, because by the time I take a picture and try to translate it, the timer's done, and then it just auto puts you to one instead, and it's not normally the best decision for that question. So yeah, but yeah, I really thought that this was interesting, and also really recommend like listening to the opening theme song for this one and for all of these games. Just have a listen to the theme songs. They're really good. That's kind of how I fell in love with wanting to get these two games, because when I heard the opening theme song, I just fell in love with that off the bat. And of course, you know, researching a bit more what type of game it was in general, what type of genre, I just really wanted to grab it. Now this one I grabbed just because it was around 10 bucks. Summon Night. Easy to find on eBay, really easy. But to my knowledge, for the story elements, I'm trying to think here if this is a tactical strategy or more of a free roam game. I haven't started playing this one yet because I've been focusing on Sakura Wars, but this is another good one to try. Oops, sorry. Another good one to try since it's not so expensive. And also I got Rhapsodia. I don't know why I want to say Rhapsody, like the game that was on PlayStation 1 that I have in my collection and DS, but it's Rhapsodia. But it also came with, which was really neat, the CD for this too. So it has a couple of songs from the game as well. So it came with the manual, it came with all the like little inserts. I love that. I love that. You don't get that nowadays. But yeah, these two will be sitting here until I complete this one, and then this one, which I'm thinking is either the second or third game. And yeah, I'll probably get more in my collection too for PS2. But do any of you guys collect? Do you have a Japan PS2? And if so, what do you recommend that maybe I should also grab to add to my collection and play later on? What's your favorite type of games? Do you love tactical strategy? Do you like more role-playing, more essentially just role-playing, or like do you like a mix of like different ones together? Because there's even some games that are like a mix where it's like musical, role-playing, tactical strategy all together and so forth. I really like the ones that kind of blend different things together in that genre itself. But yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Like, it came with another stand. It came with one for the horizontal stand instead of the vertical, but I use the vertical so I can put that alongside my Slim PS3, Fat PS3, and my original PlayStation 4. They're all sitting underneath the table where on this type of stand, vertical. And I have one console running, and then of course none of the other ones, and I have like a little fan that blows out the air from right to left from behind it, and it has a good amount of space. I think it has a good amount of space, like maybe like a good foot of space between that and the wall, but then it has that air circulation in the back. And of course I unplug it everything too before I leave go out for work or go out somewhere, so that if there is a storm, it won't die. But in case it can happen. But yeah, this is pretty much it for the video. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. I really got into this one. I really liked how this one went, essentially. But if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. And I appreciate you guys watching my videos, and I hope you have a good day. Bye, guys.